Hi everyone, we are doing data sufficiency today. Now this particular topic has a entirely different structure, its own structure way of solving the questions. But the main part is the reason that it is the last topic of entire cons module is you have to know the all other topics and the chapters individually and their concepts and everything. Only then you will be able to solve the questions based on data sufficiency, because all those things will remain the same. You just need to get used to the format of solving the questions based on this particular type. So let's start with this. There's a specific structure in which we operate here. So what usually is the pattern that they will give you a question followed by probably two statements. That's a standard way. You may have 3-4 statements as well, and that adds to more complexity. But usually one question followed by two statements, and your job is to figure out which of the two statements, the data given in which of the two statements is sufficient to answer the question. That is your job. Now, how do we do that? Let's consider a very simple example. So the question is, what is the radius of the circle? And it is followed by two statements. First statement is diameter of circle is twice the radius. Second statement is circumference of circle is 140 centimeter. Now, how do we operate? We start with the first statement alone, and when we start with first statement alone, for you as if the second statement should not exist. So if I read the first statement, it says diameter of circle is twice the radius. Now the question is, will this give me what is the radius of circle? Definitely no. Another additional information is this statement, first statement, diameter of circle is twice the radius. It is not telling you something new that you already don't know about. And when such is the case, the statement doesn't give you any new information that you don't already know about, which are the standard things. Then it becomes a redundant statement. And the beauty of redundant statement is that you will never have to consider the both statement wala scenario, and your work gets reduced. So in fact, you should be actively looking out for redundant statements, which will help your cause while solving the questions. But here, first statement one alone, no, we cannot find the answer, so that we need to scrap out. Then we'll go to two alone, and again this is where the mistakes happen. Two alone, that means you only going to consider two alone. One alone will not be there in front of you. Consider as if like that. So statement 2 says circumference of circle is 140 centimeter. I know the formula, circumference is perimeter, which is 2 pi r. 2 pi r is 140. I can substitute, I can do the calculation, I can get the value of r. Now here also another pro tip, don't figure out the answer, don't solve this, because nobody is asking you what is the value. You need to figure out whether can you find out the value of radius or not, and which statement enables you that. And that means the answer to this is only statement 2 alone is sufficient to answer the question. Don't calculate and waste your time, because nobody is going to ask what is the value and all of that. You are just need to figure out whether can you find out the value or not. And that is why this is one of the very tricky topics. These are the things that you are going to avoid. Now this is how it will happen: one alone, that's it. Two alone, that's it. If both doesn't happen, then you will consider both of them together, and then you will have either you will get the answer after combining, or you will not have the answer even after combining. This is what the flow of solving is going to be, and this is exactly what you are going to follow. It will take the time. Initially you may struggle, you may do some silly errors, but that's okay. Give yourself that time and solve a bunch of few questions so that you get used to it. Now what is going to be the answer pattern? Answer pattern, standard set of instructions obviously, but be careful in the exam. This may not be the same way where they will ask you to mark the options, but this is what usually is what we have found out in the past few years. So you will mark answer option 1 if information in statement 1 alone but not in 2 alone is sufficient to answer the question. Only 1 alone gives you the answer, 2 alone doesn't give you the answer. So you mark answer option 1. You mark 2 for exactly ulta. Statement 2 alone is sufficient, but 1 alone is not sufficient. Then would mark 3 if both the statements together will give you the answer. So 1 alone doesn't give you, 2 alone also doesn't give you. What are we going to do? We are going to combine them together, and if you get the answer after combining both of them together, you are going to mark answer option 3. We'll mark 4. Interesting. Either 1 alone or 2 alone is sufficient to answer. So both are individually gonna give you the answer. 1 alone gives you the answer, 2 alone also gives you the answer. Then you will mark 4. And the fifth and the last worst scenario, 1 alone doesn't also give you, 2 alone doesn't also give you the answer, and even after combining you don't get the answer. That is when you mark answer option 5. So this is going to be the scheme of options that you are going to mark, but obviously be careful, read it once when you are actually solving the question, because it may be different as well. Now, once the introduction part is over, few notes again which will help you to simplify this complexity of questions is the first one, which I am talking constantly: read the instructions carefully, because the answer options may not always be the same. The standard pattern we have explored, but it may not be same. So doesn't lose out anything by just quickly reading the options, just to be clear on a double surety purpose. The second note is, if statement 1 alone is sufficient, please don't be in any hurry to mark answer option 1, because there is a possibility that statement 2 alone might also give you the answer. And if you don't verify that whether statement 2 alone is sufficient to give you the answer or not, and you mark answer option 1, but in reality statement 2 also individually gives you the answer, so then you know clearly that answer option 4 is the correct answer. So check first whether 2 alone doesn't give you the answer or not. If it doesn't, only then mark 1. Otherwise, your answer will be answer option 4, either wala scenario. Then the next one, if statement 1 alone is sufficient and 2 alone is also sufficient, then don't check for both wala scenarios, because if they both are individually giving you the answer, then obviously they are definitely give you the answer after combining them as well. So do not check for together wala case and waste your time, but directly mark answer option 4. That is what the third note is all about. And the fourth and the last part, some assumptions in data sufficiency. There are standard conversion, standard formulae that you can assume. You cannot say this information is not available to us, which is something like circumference is 2 by r of the circle, which we solved earlier as well, or speed is equal to distance upon time, and such things. And that is why, if you remember, I said at the beginning itself that this topic is different because the structure is different, but rest of the concept from all other chapters, whether it is number system, geometry, or percentages or ratios or time, speed, distance, everything is going to remain the same. That doesn't change. So those ideas you need to know, which will help you to solve, but this structure is what you are going to follow. And certain conversions, maybe 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers or 1 kilo is 1000 grams, and such things. You cannot say that this is not given to us and we cannot assume. These are the things that you can assume whenever required as far as solving and finding out the answer is concerned. So be very, very sure with the flow of the procedure. Otherwise, obviously, you will make the mistakes. And these few notes, 2-3 notes that we, given you, which will also help you to avoid the confusions. So folks, that's it for today. With this, we would mark the end of entire quants module today. Go through this if you have any questions, and do let us know. We will be happy to help you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.